Okay, yeah. So living into a vision of the future. I think, like, who's read like The Secret or seen like the documentary, or who's read The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, or Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza, or all that kind of stuff. Right, exactly. So, like, for those of you who don't have a clue what I'm talking about, it's kind of this idea that if we think in a certain way, think and feel in a certain way, that we can create any reality for ourselves, we can bring any experience into our existence that we choose. Now that kind of might sound like mumbo jumbo to some of you. I mean, like, for example, how many people have thought about winning the lottery and how they'd spend that money if they were to win it? And how many lottery winners do we have in here? Millionaire winners? Exactly, so there's kind of a disconnect here. Like, clearly we don't just think about stuff and then it appears. But if you read these books, there's kind of like a science to it. Like, you have to like go into these visualizations, and I study and practice NLP, so it's kind of a little bit like that, where you really bring the image close and you create it vivid and color, and you create the sense within it, like the sense of smell, taste and touch, and you think about these peak experiences or these like biggest desires, like the life that you've always wanted, the house, the holidays, the car, and just really create that vividly. But not just that, you have to create the sense, the feeling that goes with it, like that real gratitude of already being in that moment, like you already have everything that you want. Almost like the sense of abundance that you would get if you were living that. And then the idea is that taking that into a waking state and living like that, and actually through being like, you kind of tune into this reality. Like, if you get the idea that we in a universe of infinite potential realities, there's one of us in that moment somewhere, and we bring that to us by being in a certain way. So I've been reading about this, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give this a go. Like, why not? And I had this idea a while ago. You know those like plastic bubble guns, right? You fire them and bubbles come out. And I had this, and I was firing my bubble gun, and I said to myself, what if all guns blew bubbles? I was like, that's an amazing idea. I was like, oh, that's really impressed with myself. And so I came up with this idea. I was going to come up with a festival, but not like just like a standard music festival. I wanted to have a bubble festival. And I actually did it. But anyway, so I thought, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to book it. And I don't have a clue, like, I've never done anything like that. I always thought that I wasn't good enough, and I was never going to be a success, and that wasn't something that was possible for me. So I started doing these daily visualizations about this festival, and I pictured myself on this stage, and I pictured the people, and I pictured the marquees, and I pictured the catering vans, and the kids running around, and the bubbles. And I pictured people wearing shorts and t-shirts. Of course, it's a festival, blazing sun. And I just, I didn't know how this was going to happen. I did get some coaching as well, but I kept going with this. And, this is fairly standard festival stuff, right? What I described. So you would think, well, there's not really any proof that the visualization, if you just worked hard and did what you should do and made a plan and did it, there's no proof that that has actually helped at all. Only I booked it in March, and I was thinking of people in shorts and t-shirts and blazing sun, and I was not really very hopeful that that was actually going to come into reality. But I kept going with the visualizations, and sure enough, we got to the 2nd of March, everyone's really excited, it's kind of booked, and then the beast from the east arrives. Do you remember that? In March, the first snow for 5 years. And one day it snowed off. So I'm naturally a bit disappointed, but still I'm going to do it. And I rescheduled for the 21st of April. And sure enough, the 21st of April came, and we had the hottest April weekend ever recorded. Ever. There I am, 21st of April, on the stage, looking out, talking to people, like giving this big speech. I can see the marquees, and I can see the catering vans, there's bouncy castles, there's kids charging around at face painted, and then there's thousands of bubbles floating through the air. And I was just like, wow, I did it. So yeah, that was probably the best day of my life. Still, some of you might just think, you booked a festival and then it got moved and then it was later in the year and there was some sun and it was coincidence. Sure. What I want to address is that actually, we're always kind of we're always visualizing the future, and it always has an effect on how we are now, right? So for example, imagine you're in the worst job ever. Like, it's literally the worst job. Like, everyone hates you at work, your boss hates you, you earn next to no money, and you know, you work too many hours. It's awful. You look into the future, think 20 years of this, and imagine how that affects you. Like, you're just you're just like, oh, like really heavy, like anxious, resigned, and and all of your actions kind of correlate with that, how you see yourself in the future. So you're kind of dragging that like miserable future towards you. But imagine a miracle happens, and all of a sudden out of the blue you get like invited to your dream interview job, and you get a job, and then you sort of march into your work, which you hate, and you're giving your notice, but you're like really excited because you know you now look forward and you see like the more like bigger house, better car, more money savings, like more time to spend with your partner because you're going to be living a better kind of life, and like all of your actions going into this new job will correlate with that future that you see yourself in. And then maybe 6 months down the line, your boss comes up to you and he says, "We're selling the company, and the people are thinking of restructuring the company." And then all of a sudden, oh no, like the car and the house and everything disappears, and then you're in this sort of like, oh well, maybe I'll have to go back to the old job. Oh. And then all of a sudden, all of your actions are in this new context. So this is where coaching is really, really useful. And what coaches hopefully will do is create this vision with you. So no matter what happens in this present moment, okay, so they said this, now what's possible? So rather than thinking and having to go down that line of thinking and thinking that everything's doom and gloom, we can say, okay, what can we create? Well, maybe we'll actually keep the job, or maybe we'll start our own business, or maybe we'll find a better job with more, and everything's possible. It's just that we get so caught up in our sort of tunnel vision. So finally, I'm doing quite well for time. I've probably missed loads of stuff out that I had planned. If you've never had coaching and you're wondering why, there's so many people here are coaches, I noticed, it's amazing to get coaching, and the reason is that we just don't know how to dream. Like, we lost the ability. Like, if you ask a kid what he wants to do when he's old, like, well, they want to do cool stuff like being an astronaut. Like, they want to be like a princess, or like, do you know what I mean? Or something cool like that. They want to have like these best relationships. And you can see like the girls practicing their like being a mum, like an amazing mum, and like with their imaginary boyfriends and husbands getting married, and it's just like everything's possible. They can really dream, and they practice it. They're in their visualizations, practicing, playing, being those things that they want to grow up to be. And then what happens is they get sucked into life. And they, like me, like going to school and getting a few bad grades, and then being stuck on a table with a bunch of other kids with bad grades, and then everyone's like, that's the stupid table. Do you know what I mean? And then everyone on the stupid table is like, this is the stupid table. And then you're walking around like, so if you imagine like the possible future of like your dream like astronaut job is like a bright blue summer sky, and then I'm stupid, it's just like this big dark splodge of a cloud and you're just like, okay, so that's not possible now, but there's still plenty of blue sky, so on you go in life, and then maybe like you get all your friends get invited to a party and you don't, right? And then you're like, people don't love me, people don't like me. And it's like, that's another big dark cloud in the sky. And you think, okay, well, that's not possible now, but there's still some other blue stuff, so I'll charge over, and you start walking towards that bit of blue sky. And then something happens, like you're standing up giving a speech, and like it all goes completely wrong, and then you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. More dark cloud, but there's still a little bit of blue over there. And then you get your heart broken. I'll never find the right woman. And then all of a sudden you look up and there's no blue sky anymore, it's just cloud. And then after a while you forget the blue sky was ever there. And that's just what's possible for you now. It's just, and it's safe and it's comfortable, but like it's not what's possible, it's what you've kind of like decided is possible. And you get people come up to you and go, you could do this thing, and you go, well, no, that's a dark cloud up there. Might be bad. And that's just how we live life. Now, this is why getting coaching is amazing, because the thing is about the coaches, they see you as something bigger than that, and they'll talk into that. They will build you up, and they will talk into your greatness, and you will just start to inflate and grow and grow and grow, and then maybe we use some techniques like NLP to zap some of the clouds and keep talking into that greatness, and you'll expand, and then one day you break through the clouds, and then you just soar, and then at some point you don't see the clouds anymore. They're like by your ankles, and you're just like this giant charging through life with nothing but blue sky. And yeah, that's what I do. That's my job. That's what I like to do for people. So if that inspires you, if you want some of that, if you want to see the blue sky, then come and have a chat with me. I'd be more than happy to yeah, I'm doing some free chemistry sessions. If you want to come and see if I'm the kind of coach you'd like to work with, then yeah, feel free to come and have a chat and we'll sort it out. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.